just like to rag. Hat is in the bag, country boy, but I'm still slag.
Yeah, you know the vibes. Oh, today is a very special day, mi amigos. Today is a very special day, fam. Listen. If you don't know who I am, it's your boy Eli the Rebel, okay? I don't know if I told any of y'all this, okay? Because like I'm also doing FPE takeover on the side. For the subscribers, thank you for subscribing, but also as a appreciation for your subscription to the Connecticut Soul Rock channel, I will be posting an FPE doubleheader on Tuesday, bro. 2 battles for the price of 1 vid. Come on, what kind of value? Where else are you gonna get that kind of value, bro? What else can you get that kind of value? Ugh, man. People these days, not ungrateful. But look. There's that, right? But we here today, okay? Sunday. So, this came out on Sunday, okay? I don't care if you're watching this today, tomorrow, the next week or whatever, but from this point on until the season's over, you'll be looking at YCL content on Sundays, okay? So basically during the week I'll probably be recording UGL as well. So UGL will be like during the week, but we have to draft for that first, and hopefully it's not Friday because I work the most hours on Friday, so I might have to leave picks with somebody. I don't know who yet, but we shall see. So UGL will be scattered around throughout the week, depending on like my mood and what day, whenever I feel like it. But YCL will consistently be on Sunday. So we're gonna start the YCL playlist off with the draft analysis. So YCL is the YouTube Challenges League. So I'm not the only YouTuber here, believe it or not. There's 17 other YouTubers here. Please please go to the description. Go check out their channels. Give them likes. Give them subscribers. Okay? And then when you do that, come back to me. Okay? And then throw the like button on there. Hit the subscribe button on there too. Okay? Look, this first season about to be crazy, bro. This tier list that we saw was crazy, bro. And the way we drafted was very, very crazy. And I'm going to explain that to you right now. So, it was an all-point draft. So, I'm so used to being required, okay, I need to draft 120, 100. You know what I mean? Okay. I'm gonna explain this in like letters. I'm better with letters, but because it's an all-point draft, they're all worth different things. So like S tiers are like 120, A tiers are 100, okay? And then B's are 80, 60, C's are 60, D's are 40, and then there's even an E tier at 20 points. But there's no requirements. You're not required to have tier 1, right? If the budget is 660 total points for a 10 Pokemon roster, there were people that were drafting 2 S tiers, and then they had to fill out which only meant that they had to pick more 20-point mons than the rest of the guys. But you know, so you could be creative as heck. You could even rock with a team with no S tier if you really wanted to be spicy. But you know, I was picked number 6 out of 18, which was a pretty mediocre draft spot to say the least. It wasn't a snake draft, so if you see me say, "Oh, I'm picking this up together," or if you hear me say, "Oh, I'm picking this up to fill out a typing," okay? Like I really tried my best to fill out everything that I need for myself, but it's a 10-man roster. There's gonna be holes in it. I'm not gonna have every single typing. I'm not gonna have every single hazard. I'm not gonna have every single kind of removal. Things like that, I'm not gonna be able to have necessarily. So I just had to. So ultimately, it came down to, okay, I need to build around this, and this mod, and then I'm gonna draft like things around it that would help it a lot. Okay, so without further ado, I am going to begin with my round 1 selection. Now, before I switch the slide to what it was, I'm gonna tell you off rip, I already gave you my round 1 pick in the intro, the league intro. I already gave you my round 1 pick already. Okay, so unless you were sleeping under a rock and didn't know what my round 1 pick was from the intro, here it is. Okay, Z10, bro. Zygarde 10 was at the 60 point value, equivalent to a C tier. Okay, look, I run 2 leagues myself. I run a NatDex league called the NDL, and I run DLCA, which is another Wi-Fi league for beginners. Zygarde 10 in the NatDex league was a B tier, and it was drafted, and it was one of the top, I would say definitely top 10, maybe top 5 C tier that was gone off the board, like one of the first 10, if not first 5 B tiers off the board. And the fact that it was just sitting here at C tier, I was just like, this is the best C tier by far then. So I'm gonna just pick it. Boom, done. Zygarde 10, okay, 115 speed. So this dog is actually the fastest Zygarde form out of all of them. 100 attack is very good. Spadef is actually pretty manageable at 85. If I throw an assault vest on, like, that's, you know, it can live some things. It can live some special hits, believe it or not. Dragon Ground is a very good typing for, you know, just simply offensive purposes. Dragon Ground is just super good offensively. Like the things I can run on this, right? Maybe, you know what? I shouldn't. Because I'm at 61 special attacks, and people were like, "Oh, you throw on some specs. Throw on some specs with that 61 attack." I'm like, I might throw on some specs for the culture. You may never know. It depends on my mood, bro. But yeah, Zygarde 10 at C tier was crazy because people forget that its signature move is 1,000 arrows. I generally don't know what your 1,000 arrows switch is. People always say, what is your earthquake switch in, right? You can have earthquake resist in a grass type or a bug type, things like that. Or even like a flying type for the immunity. 1,000 arrows just ignores your immunity to ground. Which is funny because the pick after me was Corviknight. Corviknight was the pick after Zygarde 10. Corviknight can't exactly take 1,000 arrow switch it. It actually does super effective damage on Corviknight. Okay, so Zygarde 10, that can, like a Pokemon that can spam a ground move freely at the C tier, I just found it astonishing to me. So I had to pick this thing round 1 right away. And it also gives me the Dragon type for the one of the most, if not the most important core in draft, which is Dragon Fairy Steel core. Yo man, 115 speed, 100 attack, like the dog. I think it's just any dog Pokemon out there. Like I've used Arcanine and Boltund in other leagues. Like they put in a lot of work, and I'm looking, and I expect Zygarde 10 to perform really well in the Galar region, in the Galar decks, because it was putting a lot of work as a B tier in national decks. So in a limited decks, I imagine the things it can do. I really want to. I look forward to using this thing. It can click buttons, and it has one button to click if all else fails, 1,000 arrows. So Zygarde 10 at C tier blew my mind. And then there was like you know, I waited for the draft to come back to me. So for round 2, I saw this in B tier, and I was just like, huh, this was mistiered. I put this in A, and it went off. in the first 10 definitely for A tiers. It was Regis Steel. Okay, Regis Steel with 150 in both defense and SPDEF, along with the 80 HP, right? Gets me a stealth rocker too. So there's one hazard. If there's any hazard that I need in my life, it's a stealth rocker. Okay, so Regis Steel with stealth rock is very good. It gets body press now. So iron defense body press has been a tech like crazy, right? You know, clear body is a very good ability. If I want to sit in web, I can just sit on webs and my stats won't drop and things like that. Or if someone tried to someone tried to lower my defense with like a fire lash or something, it won't happen, right? But clear body is just one of the more underrated abilities in my opinion. Regis Steel is also obviously a steel type, so my Dragon Fairy Steel core is almost complete at this point. I have a very difficult time switching into fairy moves with my dragons, and that was the ultimate reason why I went Regis Steel here, simply because I know it can, you know, switch in on rocks. It can take things even after rocks damage. It can switch in on fairy types. It can switch in on poison types trying to attack my fairy, right? You'll see that in the later rounds. And then round 3, I was like, I want to take this a little later, but I saw the speed tier it was in, and I was just like, I can't pass this up now. There's no way this is gonna come back to me after round 3. So I went and got a speedster, probably the speedster right now. Zeraora went to round 3. Now, I think the only thing faster in Gala right now is like Regieleki with 200 speed, but the lack of coverage for me for Aleki is just not doing justice for me. So 143 speed compared to 200 is just a big difference, obviously. But with Zeraora, with Zeraora's coverage, right? It has 112 attack and 102 special attack, so like I could be physical, special, or mixed. The versatility is there, and that's what you want out of your S tier, out of your 120 point mon. You want it to do things. You want it to come every single game if possible, and it can be versatile, right? It could be sub calm mind. It could be sub bulk up. It gets utility. It gets utility like with knockoff and volt switch, right? Signature move, Plasma Fist. Believe it or not, Plasma Fist is considered a spin blocker. So the idea is like you hit the Plasma Fist, and then you deluge the ions or whatever, and then now Rapid Spin becomes a electric type move. And Zeraora's only ability is Volt Absorb. So if you try to spin away some hazards on me, Zeraora can block it after a Plasma Fist. It's actually hysterical. Other coverage it gets, Grass Knot for the ground types, Blaze Kick, and the fighting coverage, both on the physical side with close combat, low kick, on the special side, Aura Sphere. Aura Sphere is one of those special fighting moves that gets limited access, kind of like with spikes, how select few mons in draft get spikes over stealth rocks. Again, the Aura Sphere, mons have very few mons are getting Aura Sphere that are not fighting types. So Zeraora, I love the speed tier. I love that it can hit on both sides. It can be mixed. On ladder, it's very good for heavy duty boots users, so like it can sit in on sticky webs and not worry about the speed drop, and no longer will Scarfers try to outclass me if I just sit on the webs holding my boots, things like that. But yeah, Zero Aura is a mon that I've always wanted to use. I've used, if you know me from other leagues before, I'm a big Dragapult guy. So and the only other mon that competes with Dragapult in that speed tier is Zero Aura. I've wanted to use it so bad, and here I am in the YCL on the biggest stage of them all. Right now, for me in my YouTube career, to have Zero Aura right now is ridiculous. So I hope Zero Aura puts in the work. Okay, I know it will. I know it will. I have faith. You know what I'm saying? Round 4, we went with Gengar. So Gengar is a debatable one. So it was listed as the 100-point tier. You could make a case for it being an S tier at 120. It's very frail, obviously, but the 130 special attack, the 110 speed, right? If this thing gets behind a sub and starts nasty plotting, you can just go home. You know what I'm saying? The lack of pursuit in Galar, pursuit not being, you know, Galar being allowed in Galar, like, allows for things like Gengar and all other fast ghosts to go to work. Honestly, they can just start setting up more freely now, you know. That's why, like, Tyranitar was almost pushing Yu because it lost pursuit to trap the Gengar, and now without pursuit, you know, Gengar can just come in and just, you know, click a button, pick up a kill, right? Great specs user, a great Scarfer as well, so I don't have to necessarily try to win the game with Gengar. And with all other ghosts, it can do some annoying things. It can Destiny Bond, it can disable. Cursed Body is its ability now. Imagine if it still had Levitate. Good gracious God. What did I say? Destiny Plot, disable. Oh, Will-O-Wisp Hex is a set. Will-O-Wisp Hex is a set. And last but certainly not least, tricking items is actually very annoying. So Gengar has some shenanigans, and you know, I look forward to doing some shenanigans if I'm ever in a spot with Gengar. So yeah, that is Gengar is just fast and annoying, and I just picked it up because having a ghost type in Galar is very good because there's no pursuit anymore. So there's that, and we go from one annoying mon to another one. And with this pick, I complete my Dragon Fairy Steel core as well. We get Grimmsnarl. So Grimmsnarl is okay. Frisk and Pickpocket aren't. I might use those one day. Who knows? But Prankster, is what most people associate Grimmsnarl with. Prankster gives you the, you know, the +1 priority for status moves. Unless you're a dark type, then you're like immune to Prankster stuff. It's actually pretty bulky, to be honest with you. 95 HP, 120 attack. It's actually very respectable special attack stat as well. 60 speed tier. You're speed tying Aegislash. So again, if this mon were to provide offensive presence, which it can with Prankster bulk ups and stuff, Grim can actually live some things after a bulk up. You'll be very surprised. But most people associate this with Grim holding a Light Clay to set up 2 screens, and then T-waving stuff. Also, there's two signature moves. No, the more important signature move is Spirit Break, which is a guaranteed special attack drop, and it's stab for Fairy as well. So that's very good. Grimmsnarl is just, like I said before with the Gengar pick, It's just very annoying to deal with, and you're not gonna have a fun time if you don't knock off the light clay right away. I'm not even gonna cap on that. But the thing that Grim struggles with, obviously, is that it's weak to its own typing in Fairy, but with the Regis Steel pick, I can switch in on that weakness, right? And also with Zygarde 10, it has a quad weakness to ice. Regis Steel can switch into that pretty fine. God forbid he doesn't get frozen, right? But Regis Steel can switch in on an ice move very well, right? So Grim is one of those, like, you know, he provides the versatility like Zero Aura. It has utility, and it can provide an offensive presence if you're not careful. So that's Grimmsnarl for you. And we go from someone that sets up dual screens to someone that thrives off dual screens, believe it or not. It's Girder. Girder has given me a lot of problems in draft, and, you know, looking back on it, I could have went with a cheaper option at 20 points with throw, but I just saw Girder, like, in the middle draft, and I was just like, this thing puts in a lot of work under the right matchup. So, and, like, basically, like, if your flying type is, like, dead at this point, Girder could just go to work, especially behind screens. It can live a lot of things with its, if it's still holding its Eviolite. It gets Guts. So, like, Guts, Iron Fist, Sheer Forces are the same 3 abilities that Conkeldurr has. So Guts means that, like, you know, if I can sense, like, a Will-O-Wisp or a Toxic coming, I could just let Girder take that, you know, status, and then absolutely it just becomes that more powerful. Again, 85 HP, 105 attack, 85 defense. You want this thing, you want to be the bulk up set, right? And and not only the bulk up Drain Punch, Mach Punch that is very good, you can pick and choose the 4th move. Oh, like, there's an annoying ghost type, pick knockoff. There's Ice Punch for some dragons, I got you. And the flying types, not to mention. The rock move if you want to be risky. Thunder Punch, Fire Punch. This thing even gets defog, believe it or not. So, spoiler alert, I didn't get the greatest flying types in the world to defog, but Girder can defog for me if I'm ever in a matchup that requires me to defog some hazards away. So Girder was 60 points, which is equivalent to a C tier. Very, I think it was correctly tiered, and I'm glad it fell to me, because now I can understand, like, now I can try and find out whether, like, this is a mon that I'm going to love in the end or not, because there's a lot of mons out there that, like, I can't use very well, but then, like, I end up, like, but then when I face them, they just destroy me. So hopefully Girder isn't one of those. Don't get me wrong, it puts in a lot of work against me, but now that it's on my team, I expect to do the same things that it was doing for other people. So Girder at round 6. We go from another middle stage to another middle stage in round 7. If you know me, if you've been following me from NSL season 1, you know A Boogie with the hoodie be flexing, bro. NSL season 1, we weren't even allowed, Libero wasn't even out yet through home, so I had to run Blaze, and it was still putting in massive amounts of work in Blaze, because you get crazy utility. Like, this move pool, okay, you're missing out on, like, Court Change and Pyro Ball, obviously, but everything else is still there for reboot. Okay, you can U-turn out, you can Sucker Punch for the priority, you can bulk up, you can Flame Charge, Flare Blitz, right? And did I mention this thing gets the Super Fang? The Super Fang for the chip. Come on, bro. Like, and now that I can use it with Libero. So Libero is just basically like Protean for people that don't know what that means. I can just click the buttons, right? I get stab U-turn. Now I get stab sucker punch. I get, you know, I could get super fang. I get super fang. You know what I'm saying? Like this stuff is crazy. Oh, I forgot 2 other moves. I get Gunk Shot for Fairy, Zen Headbutt for fighting types. What am I saying? What am I saying, bro? Man. Reboot, man. Reboot with the Libero. Okay? Like, I drafted it when it could only learn Blaze. And now that Libero is here for us to use, man, wrap it up. Like, I talked about in like how I wanted to try new things, but then I also wanted some safety picks that I'm familiar with. Reboot is one of those safety picks for me, man. Like, I know how to use this thing. Like, I know what A Boogie want to do, and A Boogie know what I'm about. You know what I'm saying? So A Boogie with the hoodie, man. You gotta love him, bro. You gotta love him. All right, let's go to round 8. So round 8, I'm gonna tell you right now. I initially picked up Walrein because I needed. Walrein is one of the best partners for Zygarde 10 because it's water ice with thick fat, so it can just switch in on a water or ice move that would threaten out Z10, that would threaten out the dog. But I had to drop it. For I basically had to drop it because I'm gonna have a trade come in week 2. So like the trade got accepted, but like it's not gonna be in effect until week 2. So round 8 is Butterfree. So Butterfree I picked up instead because I got sniped. I had a flying type in tier 5, but someone else sniped it, unfortunately. But one of the abilities, but I get one of the abilities I was looking at, right? Like this thing gets tinted lens on top of compound eyes, right? So tinted lens means that like resisted moves, if a move, right? So let's say like I air slash a steel type, tinted lens will boost that power because the game knows that like steel's gonna resist that, right? So that's fine, yeah. And then compound eyes just gives me like an accuracy boost on certain things, right? So now I can actually land sleep powders for free. I can land hurricanes for free, right? Things of that nature, right? And of course, and I know like bug flying isn't, you're 4 times weak to rocks, but like you know, with heavy duty boots now, right? I could just sit in on rocks or any types of hazards for that matter, and Butterfree gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying, right? It also gets the grass coverage that it needs. It gets Giga Drain and Energy Ball too to have coverage, especially for like the water types, because I didn't really get because a lot of grass types were gone off the board, so I was just like, I'm just gonna get a bug type that has like powerful like grass moves for temporarily. And also the flying typing, like I said, the air slash, the hurricane, right? Every successful draft I've had a decent flyer, right? NSL Season 1, Togekiss, NDL, Swellow, right? I didn't have one FPE Season 3, but Season 4, I have Zapdos, right? Every successful draft I had a flyer. So like there was no, there were plans on my draft planner that had no flying type, and I was like, I need to fix this because I'm not going to win if I don't have a flying type, because the 2 hardest things to find resistances for in draft round, flying and ice, are the top 3. Top 3. So, and then electric can be under there as well, and water. Well, that would round out my top 5. But Butterfree, Butterfree fills the flying typing for now. If it puts in the work, I'll keep it. Okay. There's other coaches here that have told me that, you know, Butterfree has put in work for them. So I was just like, all right, I'm gonna try it out myself. Why not? So Butterfree round 8, welcome to the team. And then we'll go to the last 2 rounds. We'll fly through this. We got Dottler. We got Dottler, okay? Look, man. So basically, this is like Galar's version of what Shelmet. Okay? Okay, this is. I talked about how ground is probably the hardest thing to switch into. Dottler can do that. With 80 defense, 90 SPDEF, and it holds the Eviolite, it can live a lot of ground moves. I'm gonna tell you that right now. And it also gives me the psychic typing that I was missing out on. It gets compound eyes like Butterfree. Swarm is probably the ability that I'm gonna run with, to be honest. If I'm ever in that situation, it doesn't. Like, I'm using this as like a bulky mon that has webs. It gets recover too, to be honest with you. I can like iron defense body press with this thing too, and we can see if it can get a kill or not. But I mostly drafted Dottler for the as a ground switch in, right? I have Butterfree for an immunity, but like most ground types have rock coverage. I mean, Dottler doesn't really appreciate a rock move as well, but we have ways around predicting a rock move and stuff. Rock isn't really that great of a typing in draft, so you know, let's see. We're gonna see if Dottler can put up the webs successfully or not, because webs do support this team a lot. It makes Zero Aura the fastest thing like ever. Zygarde 10 can click buttons now, or just become a really fast banded 1,000 arrows guy, right? Webs help out a lot of my offensive mons, particularly Zero Aura, Zygarde 10, and Gengar for the most part. So imagine throwing up some webs, and then you have Grimmsnarl with the dual screeds. You know, things are gonna be going crazy. Reboot Kit thrives off of sticky web support. So Dottler, you know, isn't going to attack that much, but it's surprisingly bulky and can throw up webs successfully. I hope. So we'll see how that works out. And then round 10 was probably the best E tier in my opinion that somehow made it back to me. So I was just like, alright, I'm gonna pick it up. Bet. We got Rosalia. We got the Statue of Liberty at friggin' round 10, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Battery Park, man. You know what I'm saying? Natural Cure is crazy good on a bulky mon, because, you know, with the poison typing I can switch it on Toxic. If I somehow get paralyzed and I don't want Girder to take paralysis that matchup, I can throw in my Rosalia for the T-Wave and then switch out, and then the Natural Cure will pop off, because Natural Cure is basically Regenerator but with statuses instead. So once I switch out, my paralysis or whatever status move that happens to me becomes like it disappears, right? Just the Thanos snap, pop, right? 100 special attack is actually surprisingly good. 80 SPDEF can live things. With the Eviolite, it lives even more things, surprisingly. But the most important thing about Rosalia is that, like, it can land Toxic. It gets Toxic Spikes and regular Spikes. So I have Regis Steel for Stealth Rocks, and then Spikes and Toxic Spikes for Rosalia as well. 65 speed, a little faster than Grim, which is always nice. If you've watched PDL before, you already know the story with Rosalia. It can PP stall in Amoonguss, believe it or not, which is nuts. Oh, I forgot. The hidden ability, because Rosalia gets Technician as a hidden ability, but Rosalia's hidden ability is Poison Point. So any contact move on Rosalia, you might get poisoned back. So be careful. Be careful, buddy. Be careful with that. But that concludes our draft. This is our draft going into week 1. When I have my week 1 battle at the very end, I will announce what trade was made going into week 2. So I will announce the trade that was made after my week 1 battle. So stay tuned for that. And then I'm gonna close right here. So my biggest concern with this team is how this team like synergizes together, right? Because I don't have multiple mons to set hazards. Like, I don't have multiple stealth rock options. I don't have multiple spikes and toxic spike users. So for my opponent to know that, and for also my opponent to know that I don't have any, you know, wish support, cleric support, it's difficult. It's difficult. They can manipulate that and put things on a timer for me, and like, I don't know if, like, I tried to make it so that way like things can switch in for each other, but because there's just the majority of this team is just more mons that I'm not familiar with, that I'm trying out, with only like a handful of mons that I'm very familiar with. That's my biggest question going into my week 1 match. But we're in a division where like a loss week 1 isn't the end of the world in my opinion. But we'll see how that plays out. Like I said, the trade will be in effect week 2, and most importantly, this team like fits my playstyle. At the end of the day, a lot of people call me crazy when I say stealth rocks and all these hazards are the most overrated things, right? But like, because everyone drafts hazard removal, I find it, I don't like being in that position where I have to like be like, oh well, he's gonna defog, time to throw the hazards up again. Like, I don't want to play that game of I'm not attacking, I'm just throwing up hazards. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like playing that game. Like, because the purpose of hazards in general is to wear down your opponent. But I'm not that kind of guy. I'm a hyper offensive guy. So I don't care whether things need to take stealth rock for the kill. I just want to chip it down directly. You know what I'm saying? I want direct chip, if anything. Worst case scenario. I don't want to rely on hazards to win me the game. That's just not the way I play. And this team says that. Absolutely. So again, that's the YCL draft for your Connecticut Solrocks. I look forward to playing week 1. I don't know if it's next Sunday or the Sunday after, but stay tuned. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Again, all the coaches in the description. Go like their vids. Go subscribe to them, and then come back and like and subscribe to me. So yeah, it's your boy Eli the Rebel. I'll see you guys week 1. Deuces.